It just keeps going. It just keeps going. It just keeps going. It just keeps going.
Hi everyone! Welcome to another episode of So Not Scary. Today I'm going to show you how I created this really adorable and really useful scrap fabric patchwork strip using only your mini sewing machine and a roll of toilet paper. So let's go ahead and get started. To begin this project, you only need very basic supplies, nothing fancy at all. All you need is a roll of toilet paper. Now it can be a brand new roll or a partly used roll, as long as it's clean and it's got quite a bit of toilet paper left on the roll. That's good enough. So I've got a brand new roll here just to show you how to begin, okay? And what you need is fabric scraps. Now in this box here, I've got a whole bunch of fabric scraps. Some of these fabrics might appear familiar. I've used some of them in earlier episodes, and the others are just, scraps from my fabric box. And the only thing that I've done is I've given them a quick press just so they're nice and smooth and easy for you to see what I'm doing. You don't have to press them when you're doing this for yourself. I've just pressed them to make it easier for you to understand. And the other thing that you need to make sure is that they should be slightly longer than your toilet paper roll. So if this is my roll, you can see that every piece is just slightly longer than the roll. That's the only prerequisite. They can be as wide as you want them to be. Okay, so this way they can be any size. Just make sure that they're slightly longer than the length of the toilet roll. Okay, so we're going to begin by opening up the toilet paper on one end. Okay, so that's my brand new toilet roll, and just so the toilet roll doesn't move about all over the place, you can just find a bowl or a cup or a box or an old shoe box from around the house and just pop the roll in that box. I've got this little old cardboard box from some kind of a game. I'm just gonna drop the roll in there, and that's not going anywhere then. Okay, and I've got this roll now. Now here's what we're gonna do, okay? I'm going to take one scrap of fabric. Here it is. I'm going to lay it down on one end of my toilet roll, okay? Here we go, like that, okay? Just inside the edge, okay? Or matching the edge, however you like. And I'm going to sew a straight stitch here and here as well. Okay, this is just for the very first piece. Okay, just for the very first piece, we're going to sew a straight stitch here and here. Let's go ahead and do that. Okay, so before we start sewing, let me quickly show you the most efficient way to do this. So I've set up my extension table on the mini sewing machine. If your machine has an extension table, that'll be awesome because it's going to make life easier. But if you don't have it, don't worry, you're still going to be just fine. Because my machine came with this extension table, I've set it up, okay? And what I'm going to do is, see that roll of toilet paper that we just saw? I'm going to put this box along with the toilet paper roll behind the machine like that, okay? And I'm going to pull this out quite a bit. There we go. So I've got quite a length of loose toilet paper roll. Okay, now I'm going to take that very first piece of fabric, align it just inside the edge, okay? And now I can slide it underneath the presser foot to the front, like so, okay? So now the toilet paper is actually coming in from behind the machine, okay? Maybe shift the box slightly to the right. And now we can press it underneath the presser foot. Okay, here we go. And now we're going to sew a straight stitch. Okay, so I've just done a straight stitch down the left edge of my fabric. I'm going to take my fabric out and repeat it on the right edge. Okay, so I've done the very first piece. As you can see, that's a left stitch, that's a right stitch, and if I flip it over, you'll see that the stitches came through beautifully, okay? See? No problems whatsoever. There are no problems with using the tissue at all. It's simply acting kind of like an interfacing or a stabilizer behind the fabric, okay? So there we are. Now that's the first piece. Now after this, it's just super easy and it just keeps going. I'm gonna take another piece of fabric. Here's my piece. This is the good side. This is the wrong side. All I'm going to do is flip it over so that the good sides are kissing each other. Line it up with the right edge, okay? And now sew another straight stitch here, okay? and we're going to continue. So let's just do this first and let me show you how that works. Okay, so I've now stitched this piece on as well. Now look what happens when I open this up. These two pieces are now stitched together, okay? And now what I can do is I can take another piece, put that piece with the good sides facing each other and sew another straight stitch, and so on and so forth. Now I've already started one row like this, so I'm going to continue with that row. So let me show you what that looks like. So this is a roll that I've already started over the weekend, okay? And this is the last piece that I worked on that roll. Now here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take another piece of really wonky fabric. Can you see how wonky this is? But it doesn't matter. You can pretty much use any kind of fabrics you've got, okay? I'm going to line up one straight edge with this edge now, and I'm going to sew a straight stitch here. Now take a look at this, because this is going to be super fun. My fabric, this piece was really wonky cut, so when I open it up like a book now, look at it. This line is going to come out on the diagonal, and that's cool because we're going to get some really interesting patterns in our patchwork. So what fabric shall I take now? I'm going to take this lovely cow fabric, and I'm going to align it like so, okay? And this time I'm going to sew a diagonal stitch. Okay, here we go. And to make it easier for you, what you can actually do is you don't always have to slide this top thread back underneath the presser foot. All you have to do is hold on to it while you're doing the first couple of stitches. See, so now this thread isn't going to bother me anymore. I can just kind of push it to one side and continue with my sewing. So now look what's going to happen when I open up this wonky cow fabric. Look at that. Look how pretty that looks. We've got a wonky patchwork and it looks really cool. So now what I'm going to do is, to avoid going too crazy, I can give this fabric a straight cut down here, okay? There, and now we're back on track. I can simply align another straight edged fabric to this edge. Let's do that. I'm going to use this pretty blue fabric now. Good sides together, straight edge. So I'm going to continue to do this with all these strips, or at least some of the strips, and come back to you and show you what that looks like. So when you open up one piece of fabric, it helps to kind of quickly finger press it down with your nail, okay, to give it a crease, and you know it's opened up all the way, and then you move on to the next piece. Okay, so I've done about 10 minutes of sewing, and it's given me quite a long length of patchwork pieces stitched together. And now we have to do a spot of ironing. So here on this side, you will see I've clipped together the roll of patchwork that I'd done earlier over the weekend, just so it's out of the way and it's not unraveling, okay? And now what I'm going to do is lay out the stitching that I just did, okay, flat on my ironing surface. And I'm going to take a hot iron with the steam function switched off. So can you see on my ironing, that's the steam function. I switched it off, okay? Because we don't want to melt the toilet paper underneath, okay? And just give it a good press. Can you see in just about 10 minutes of sewing, I've got a really nice long length of patchwork stitched together? There, that's done. Let's move on to the next step. Okay, so the final step in making our patchwork strip is to do some cutting. Now you can choose to use either a pair of scissors, or if you've got a rotary cutter, you can use that too. I'm going to show you both to see how each one works, okay? Because we're all beginners, I'm assuming all of us might not have rotary cutters at home, but most of us should have a pair of good sharp fabric scissors. So this is what we're going to do. On this side, this is my roll that I had created earlier, and I've kind of rolled it up and place it neatly to one side, and we need to flip this over onto its front, okay? There we go. And now you can clearly see the tissue paper on the back of it, or the toilet paper, and the outlying fabric bits that need to be removed. So what we're going to do is start cutting along one edge, okay? And once all of that cutting is done, we're going to move on to the other edge. Let's do that. So I'm going to take my ruler and align the edge with the edge of the toilet paper and just roll forward with my rotary cutter. Okay, there you go. And then we move forward again. Okay, so one side is done. Now we're going to do the other side, and I'm going to show you how to do that with a pair of scissors. So to slice the edges off with scissors, what we have to do is make sure that one blade is constantly in contact with your work surface, okay? So I'm going to just start cutting. Okay, so my beautiful fabric strip is now sliced up nice and even, so I'm just going to start rolling it, okay? So I'm just going to there you go, my roll is done. There, how sweet does that look? And the fact is that you're also saving a lot of scrap fabric using this method because there's less to throw away or dispose of, okay? And at the end of it, you've decluttered your fabric stash and you've created something really quick, really useful, that's always handy for whatever small sewing projects you need to make. Now, how would you store your scrap fabric patchwork strip? I would recommend just take up an old box or an open basket, something small which you can tuck away out of sight, okay, when you're not using it, and so that it doesn't get unraveled. And if you look at what I've done here, okay, that's my fabric strip, and on this side is a toilet paper roll that I'm still working on, and they're both connected, okay? So next time when I want to kind of add on a bit more to my fabric strip, I'll just simply take this box out and use the whole box as a whole, okay? I also have this ginormous clip. I think they're called, I don't know, bulldog clips or whatever clips they are. If you've got a ginormous clip, maybe like a hair clip as well, you know, with those giant jaws, you could use it to clamp onto your fabric strip, okay? And that's going to stop it from unraveling as well. But really what you're looking for is a simple, cheap, ideally free solution so that you don't have to go out and buy anything. So just an old cardboard box like I've got here, an old shoe box would work perfectly. I hope you enjoyed today's tutorial, guys, and that it gave you some new ideas on how you can use up old fabric scraps using your mini sewing machine. I do believe this is not just an incredibly simple project, but also a very important one because you are learning the very basic skills you need in order to start using your mini sewing machine. If you enjoyed this tutorial, please go ahead, share this video with your friends, with any sewists you know, hit like if you haven't done so, and subscribe to the channel. And I shall see you guys soon. Thank you for watching. Bye!